It's time to get to our race by race review. I'd like to do this podcast gamified style if you don't mind. So I've divided these races into different tiers, not the kinds of tiers that I'm hoping Susan Collins will be shedding on election night, but different levels. And when I tee these up, I'm hoping that what you will do is you will look down into your booklet of internals and you'll tell me something that I don't know. Tell our audience some inside information that they don't have yet about that gives you insights into what's going on in that race. Sound good?
Deal.
All right, here we go. My first tier is North Carolina and Maine. These are the toss-up opportunities. These are the two races that looked 9 months ago like they were in reach of Democrats, the ones that we thought were the most likely. We talked a little bit about Maine already, the fact that Susan Collins is like the demon love child of Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. And now Troy Jackson has got a black star to campaign with no funds. Take me inside what you're seeing in these absolute must-win top-tier races, North Carolina and Maine. What are you seeing? What don't we know?
I think in North Carolina, what you are not seeing is great campaigning by Michael Whatley, and it's just not translating to voters across the state. He's not doing great campaigning. He's terrible on the stump, very boring, but he's also not doing what he needs to do to win over independents and Trump skeptic Republicans in that state. The smart Republican right now would be running as far away from Donald Trump as they can, and he is just embracing him closer and closer. So we are seeing that pop up again and again when we're talking to voters and we're polling in North Carolina, is this idea that they're not necessarily diehard Democrats, but they just want someone who's going to stand up for North Carolina when North Carolina needs a champion, when it needs a fighter. And they don't believe that about Michael Whatley. Michael Whatley is also facing extreme pressure for promoting a sex offender, a child sex offender, into a position of power within the North Carolina Republican Party. And that's tying into all of the Epstein class concerns that we are seeing from voters about this special class of people who get away with doing crimes and get leniency and all of that. And then yet they still get positions of power. They get jobs, they get tax breaks, all these sort of things. So Michael Whatley, despite needing to not be a swamp creature, is absolutely the biggest swamp creature we're seeing on the map this cycle. So I think that is what I'm seeing in terms of North Carolina. The polling there is going to tighten. We are seeing all of these public polls where Roy Cooper is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points ahead. I don't want Democrats in North Carolina or anyone else to get complacent. That polling is going to tighten. Those numbers are a little bit tougher, I believe, than what the public polling is saying. But Roy Cooper's out fundraising Michael Whatley. He's out campaigning him. He's on an affordability tour. So all signs are pointing to a positive night in North Carolina.
That is great. And let's just do Maine quickly. I do so much on Maine. I'm going to cover it with Paul in just a few minutes if he apparates onto the podcast. If not, I'm going to do a lot of vamping. And obviously I worked as a congressional staffer there for 6 years. I've lived the nightmare before, but Troy Jackson, one poll available so far, not a particularly high quality one, shows him up 3. What don't we know about his chances of picking up this baton and crossing the finish line?
So we're in the field and we're going to be in the field in Maine soon. So hopefully I will, next time we talk, have a better insight of some polling, because you're right, I never trust just one public poll. But that being said, Susan Collins' numbers have not gotten any better since we started this. We had a rough June and July as Democrats in Maine, to be sure, but you would expect that Susan Collins' numbers would be improving in that sense, and they're absolutely not. They're still scraping the most bottom depths that they can be scraping, and we absolutely are taking advantage of that. We are talking about how she is corrupt. We are talking about how the fact that she is standing in the way of stock trading bans to make sure that members of Congress can't use their position to do insider trading, something she clearly isn't for. We are going to be talking about all of the votes that she took that she promised Maine one thing and then went around and voted to do the rest. So I think the big story right now is Troy Jackson is there. He's raising. He's the top fundraiser right now on Act Blue. We are absolutely seeing money come in from him. But what we're really seeing is that Susan Collins isn't getting any better. She's as bad as she ever was in terms of her polling numbers. And that's not a good sign for an incumbent. And I know everyone a little bit 2020 scarred, but she has never had lower poll numbers. She has never had a higher unfavorability, and more voters distrust her and don't want her to be returned to the US Senate than ever before. So we're in a position to win Maine. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but we are in the right place for it.
She is the second least popular sitting U.S. senator in the country, behind a guy who's currently doing a Weekend at Bernie's impersonation. I want to just ask one more quick one on Maine. One of the things that happened before the Graham Plattner implosion is that he was sending desperate memos to DC saying, hey, I know I'm all anti-establishment and all, but would you guys send money? Because I'm getting pummeled on the air. Are you guys planning? I don't want you to, this is one where you don't have to make news with me here, but are you planning to come in and give air cover for Jackson, because Collins is on the air? The outside groups are on the air in Maine.
Yeah, and absolutely. We are going to be competitive in Maine, and we view Maine as one of the best pickup opportunities in the country. So we will be there. The smart strategy is not to just throw a number out. It's to look at what does each individual candidate need. And Troy Jackson is a different candidate than Graham Plattner. They are not the same person. They are separate. And what Troy needs to beat Susan Collins is going to be a little bit different. So we're crunching the numbers. We're looking internally, and we're going to look at how do you make that happen? Is that more digital investments, more television investments? So now that we have a candidate there, we will be in Maine. I'm looking forward to announcing it, just mostly so reporters and folks like yourself stop asking when it's coming, because everyone's real excited about Maine. I'm joking, but we're going to get there, and it's going to be a tough race. But again, the money's going to come in for Troy, which is a really great sign, and the money from us will be there because this race is competitive.
All right, I want to go to the next tier, which is the must-holds for Democrats. I want to just hit one of the following three. There's my old stamping grounds, New Hampshire. There's Georgia, where Jon Ossoff is having a little bit of a swoon moment among the Democratic electorate. And then there's Michigan, which is facing a primary. Pick one. Tell me something that we don't know that your internals are telling you.
Down in Georgia, we've seen a number of special elections down there, and the enthusiasm that Democrats showed and voters in general showed in those off-year special elections, where on average across the country, Democrats overperformed anywhere from 15 to 17 points. That enthusiasm right now is very strong for Jon Ossoff, for the down ballot races there. So we are seeing that enthusiasm match over. And it does help that Jon Ossoff is having a moment, though I think that he's doing the right thing by being so aggressively, solely focused on this Senate race. It does help that we have it's going to be a competitor's governor's race. But everything we're pointing to and seeing is that the enthusiasm that we saw last year from continuing right now, which is absolutely what you want to see coming off the summer, going into the fall in a tough election cycle. Because again, Georgia is also going to tighten. These Republicans are going to come home, but we love to see it. And it is somewhat helpful that Mike Collins can't really be on the campaign trail right now because he's got some family problems. I'm not sure if you've heard, but his son-in-law is a Nazi influencer. So he's probably dealing with some weird, awkward tension at home because the son-in-law lives with him. So that's probably keeping him off the campaign trail a little bit right now. Also, he doesn't want to ask or answer any questions about why him and his son-in-law make separate videos, but videos on the same property.
That is a great, fascinating question that I would invite them to swoop in and answer. All right, let's
should ask him. Did he pay David for campaign work? That's a question I want to know. I think that's a question Jon Ossoff wants to know. Voters want to know because he paid him to work at his trucking company. So was he also doing some posting on behalf of Mike Collins for Georgia?
It would be like asking Susan Collins, what happened to those other 2%? Were you overtaken by some kind of a positive demon?
No, those were show votes. Those were the ones that they knew it was going to pass anyway, so she could back away. So, because at no point in time has she ever not been there for Donald Trump.